right now. At this point of time, I'm Aspie. I bring out all about my mental health disorders versus just a life story in general of my everyday encounters with Asperger's syndrome and the like. Just to give you a heads up, basically, as I was watching a video right now called Let's Have a Chat kind of thing that has been brought to my attention, basically, of the one I've been watching of Harry Mendoza versus some other ones that has been actually sharing this everyday, topic here. And this one's basically going to be based on what I've learnt and experiences in life in general, basically through, years of living so far, based on when I was, in my school life versus basically just where I'm at this point of time, just to give you guys the lowdown of what's going down. So as you know, basically studying and jobs for that section, I believe that there is a time we need to learn and a time that we need to basically be at school regardless where we are at, if it's at Polytech, or just uni, wherever it may be, that basically even though it may take out like 5 to 6 years of our life, that sometimes some things that we get taught in schools can be learned at home and just life experiences in general, so to speak. Yes, when I used to go to poly, I had some different timetable structures, be it whatever times it may be. Some may be 8 to 3, some 9 to 3, some 8 to 5. Especially with some everyday structures that I had based on, everyday, topics, or shall we say different schedules that I had based on my everyday chosen courses that I did at that time. I feel that most of the things we learn at school, how well in uni, should be applied in our everyday life, as I said, and to get us ready and equipped in the real world when we transit from, a young child to an adult taking full responsibilities for what we need to do. However, I feel also that basically on this scale though, like, life can be too short sometimes, and sometimes we shouldn't take things too granted, even though, some of us may not want to just, get up in the morning trudging at 7 a.m, taking a bus or whatever, commute to uni, Polytech, or wherever we are, and then finish at about 2 or 3 in the afternoon or even later, So, yes, I agree with Harry when he said something along the line, basically, with Monday to Friday, sometime, depending on our, timetables, we may not have time out for ourselves because we're still in that study mode. Basically, once we hit home, maybe we might slam into the books for an extra hour or a bit for whatever assignments we need to be doing that has to be handed in and whatnot. Just got to remember though, however, regardless of what goes down though, however, that we should stick to it, find what we love, stick to it, regardless, even though, okay, for us, especially when it comes down to school, we may not like it, but then again, it's up to us if we want to drop out of high school and go into uni and whatnot. But from what I can recall, I had to actually, for my own personal reasons, drop out early in high school and actually go straight into uni, even though uni is just another form of high school kind of teaching stuff, regardless whatever courses they throw at you. And that they were the ones that obviously say that you have to be on time, you're responsible for your own learning and your own teaching and your attendance and everything else, like anything, just to teach us the basics of, obviously, when it comes down to, if you were in that everyday age, working, whatever. Got to remember though, we are the ones to write our stories, regardless though, seize every opportunity we can, regardless what it may be when we were younger, and maybe when we come to middle age, because it won't come around again, no matter what opportunity experiences come at us. Basically, I feel that sometimes on the long trudge of things that, when it comes down to studying, especially from what I've learned, basically, I was always in my book, especially in some hardcore subjects that I needed to be to get more, knowledge and understanding into what was needed of me through the courses that they gave me to do, of the course outline and whatnot. School taught me, obviously, also that you had some STAR courses back in the days when I was in high school. I don't know if it does exist in some parts of New Zealand, that there were STAR courses for me, some sort of like bridging system that, like, just to get us a taste of what, work would be like of our chosen field of whatever we wanted to become, and our choice, later on of, so to speak. And that's, there are other bits like, a fill-in gap year of some apprenticeships maybe given to us for the lucky ones, if so. But then again, I've noticed that sometimes there's certain apprenticeships that was in my parents' days, basically, that should have been, applied maybe today for us. But I feel also when it comes down to studying also, especially in NCA levels, especially, some of it, can be really hard for some of us to really stream ourselves to actually focus on to gaining the excellences and whatever else. I found that with me in high school, like basically I was struggling due to my learning disabilities and everything else that was, causing a bit of a, struggle for me, and I was trying my every day hardest just to find what I can work around with of my strengths, regardless of these learning disabilities and other disabilities that did come into play later on, sort of thing, as I shared so far. And that, at the end of the day, basically, how I look at it for the NCA system, especially for here in New Zealand, basically, I feel, this is just my opinion, that something needs to be given as a chance here for some of us that may fall in behind the cracks of the ones that may have learning disabilities or learning disorders. I felt also though, like, for me, regardless of this, I didn't get a chance to do any of these apprenticeships that may have been given to some students in high school or even in uni, so to speak, because in uni where I was, or at the time of studying, basically, there has been some, opportunities for some people to do that, but I didn't, but I agree with Harry again. I don't mean to bring your name into this, or shall we just nickname you Ruby Ninja, that basically you mentioned something along the lines of basically you got told by your parents that this will secure you a job, this is your lifeline and such. Yes, I got told that too by my parents and my peers and and everyone else around me, be it whoever it was. I thought to myself at the time, being young and naive as I was, maybe just to take it on board, still do to this day basically, because obviously they know more than we do, some of the the ones that teaches us, like our parents especially, even if they are from a different generation gap, they know what they're talking about. And if it wasn't for my parents actually giving me the push that I needed to try and excel in school and also in poly, even though it's all down to me also by choice of how I went about my studies and whatnot, I wouldn't be here today, even though yes, I'm still struggling to this day in the way of the next topic I'm wanting to address is basically jobs, which will be in a minute. But this, just to bear in mind though, I want to be able to work with someone who can actually, be patient with me regardless of my, differences of either my thought pattern process versus, everything that how I work. Hopefully we can, learn something from each other when it comes down to it, basically, for work. I don't want to be in an environment where it be too stressful for me. I just want to hopefully maybe learn from them if I've missed out something, in a way of my learning process versus their learning process, they can put onto me and vice versa, so that we can just work together as a team somehow, one way or another. Also, another food for thought also in the job talk section I'm going to talk about basically before I move on to my thoughts on the education system here in New Zealand is, regardless of it all, that hopefully just there will be certain tools there that is readily available for me to use if need be, for the sake of my condition, be it whatever it may be, even though I know everybody's learning patterns and processes is different, but how I work is basically, I'm not sure if any of you would be the same. From what I've applied through, intermediate right through to uni, is basically I colour code, I basically write down notes over and over again, I'll write key reminders in my diary as well as in my phone, I'll write out some keywords in that, also maybe, when it comes down to answering phones, learn up some pick-up lines, hello, welcome to, da-da-da, ABC News, this is Kieran speaking, how my education system, let's bring this into it. Yes, we shouldn't be at high school and stay there as a full-on necessity. I agree with you there, Groovy Ninja, from what you're saying there, despite it all. As I've said before earlier in this piece, I decided to leave high school early due to my personal reasons, especially, falling down the cracks. So actually some of my grades were looking shit hot due to my learning disabilities and that, and trying to, keep pushing myself and excelling in that regardless of what was going on with my learning disability, as well as with the help of my parents trying to, guide me through it all, as well as trying to find some, support networks versus just certain networks that can actually help with my learning versus, just my specialised needs at that given moment of time. Also at that time of my studies, be it in high school leading up to poly before I left, of this year 2016, I weighed up my options before going, yet looking at it now, despite some things I got taught it is worth it, despite, like I said, my learning disability and condition, I gave my all and have brought some challenges and setbacks, but with that in mind, I did have some real strong support, and I still do to this day have a bit of a support system still in place for me, even though, like I said in one of the videos, I'm not sure if I did or not, but I'm finding right now that it's hard to find the right actually support system for me because of my specialised needs. Yes, I agree with you, Groovy. We need to make our own choices, basically on life, to go to uni, school, what have you. Yet we need to realise that we are in control of most things in life, and what we decide to do now can affect our future, however. This is how I look at it. We need to do what is right for us, yes. No one else can actually dictate to us or tell us what to do. We're the ones that's, in sole charge. Education is important, yet life teaches us a lot of things along the way. You want to learn, teach, educate yourself, and reaping the rewards and benefits at the end of your journey of high school, polytech, and the like. Basically, also, as I said before, as I forgot to add in for the education system, I'm not sure that, to me, regardless of the NCA system we have in New Zealand versus the apprenticeship schemes that used to be in place of certain schools versus polys, I think that even though they did at one stage, I think, cut off some of the, income for people that were basically, wanting to seek out more in a way of an opportunity for themselves, in a way of doing apprenticeship schemes and what have you. Continuing on about the jobs section of my video here, as well as, of all the other bits here. As you guys are aware what I want to do, my passion is not wanting to help people one way or another, being a mental advocate, but there's a lot of hurdles I have to jump through, hoops. Yes, I did some odd jobs here and there while I was at Polytech, just to fill in the gaps sometimes, or just to also just bring in some extra income when I really needed it the most. I did some volunteering work versus basically just some street appeal work versus everything else that didn't involve the money factor, just to give the taste of what life might be like without money versus, money in general. The only actual paid jobs that I actually got at the time, though, however, just to bear in mind while I'm sharing this, was just the cleaning jobs that I did in the past versus basically, I can't remember the other ones, but it will come to me. Also, basically, some of the jobs that I did as jobs basically could be starting at a home, be it, i.e. example, as I just said, cleaning. I've been trying to myself out there after doing youth line training last year, and it's been really proven difficult regardless. But many jobs, as we know, expects me to have a mental health paper, diplomacy of counselling versus everything else for the job I want to do, and also some other bits and pieces that may have stopped me from getting jobs is probably, like, as some jobs expects you to have experiences, license and stuff. As I said, I'm hoping to put that into action sometime soon to my license and whatnot, hopefully. I am willing to work, though, however, or do some training behind the scenes, regardless if it's supposed to be some sort of certificate, be it, your first aid certificate or any other certificates like that that entails that, and whatnot. Also, that's another one. Another job I did was selling chocolates for a time. I think it was 2-3 months last year, just a day of 1 day a week, basically. Also, I feel that sometimes employers may think, well, some sort of risk factor when we come into the jobs, especially, he said, Harriet or Groovy Ninja said about basically, you know, how if we decided to just drop out of high school early and just trying to maybe go in a workforce, you know, without any qualifications and experience or what have you. But sometimes I feel that what we go through in life based on our life experiences, whatever it may be, you know, example wise, maybe drug abuse versus, you know, going through suicidal thoughts and you came out of it versus basically all those other normal general perspectives of job, you know, life experiences. Surely that can bring you in some, you know, form of job or what have you. But then again, everyone has their differences of opinion there. I also feel that despite the job fact, I'm coming of age as well, maybe finding it harder, as I said, with no license, you know, driver's license especially. But then I guess it's not just my job as well, but I just put that aside, even though many people may think, you know, it's just my imagination or just my assumptions versus, you know, everything else in nature of it. But as I said, I'm willing to learn as I go, hopefully. For some apprenticeships, if I can hear you right there from what you see, Groovy Ninja, about something about credentials aren't there, well, back the bus there. From what I can gather, when I was in high school, the apprenticeship schemes that they introduced in high school where I was, it had some credit-based system in place in the NCA structure. Yes, I agree that education system has the one-size-fits-all category. That's all basically, and that, you know, I feel that needs to be removed somehow. I feel that maybe regardless of that it needs to be basically catered to everyone's different learning needs regardless. Yes, most jobs require some certain degrees, you know. Anyway, before I run out of time, this is the end of it. Give me the delightful thumbs up. I would love for you guys to engage and share your opinions below of this topic, especially since, like I said, basically this is one of the ones that has actually come to light and come to my attention, as well as what I feel on my heart to share with you all of what's going on, especially with me. Just a brief little tickly bits here and there. Yes, I believe everyone is entitled to their opinions and feel strongly on this topic or more. I need to know, you know, what your ideas and opinions are. It's giving me the delightful thumbs up for support. Comment below. Basically, feel free to, you know, share these videos around. Feel free to comment, like, shall we say, subscribe to my channel. Feel free to basically follow me on Twitter, Facebook. Until next time, do what you love, do. I'll see you all again soon. Aspie signing out.